Today we are going to be making Swedish Glögg. Swedish Glögg is a mulled wine, an enhanced wine that the recipe that I have has been passed down to me from Poppy, my wife's grandfather, and this batch is in honor of him. Kind of a great recipe. Anything that starts out with the recipes of 1 gallon of red wine, 1 quart of port, and includes rum can't be all bad. So some of the other things that we are going to use are cardamom, cloves, prunes, raisins, lemon, and cinnamon. We need sugar, and I don't know if I said raisins, but they're in here. So the way that we start this off is I've got the lemon. The way that we start this off is with a gallon of wine. Generally speaking, that means you're not going to be buying the high quality wine, but you're going to be buying utility wine. So we will take, and this happens to be a Burgundy, and we are going to pour the whole gallon. Save the bottle. You'll need somewhere to store this when you're finished with it. Voila. Just a little bit. Okay. So the second part that we use is a quart of port. This is actually 1.5 liters, but we started with 5 liters of wine instead of a gallon. So we will go ahead and put the whole 1.5 liters in here. Now you want to make sure that you're not using an aluminum pot for this. So we've got, and I'll go ahead and put the heat onto this because it's going to take a little while to heat this up, and we can do the rest of this. Okay, so as we're moving forward, it wants us to add 2 cups of prunes. And if I was organized, I would have already sorted some of this stuff out, but maybe we'll edit it, maybe we won't. So we're going to need a cup measure here. Yeah, there's a cup. So we need 2 cups of prunes. Which is just about exactly what comes in one of these size containers. I don't think the measurements on this have to be exact. So we've got 2 cups of prunes. The next thing that we need to do is 2 cups of raisins. The good thing about this this glögg is that, well, its mere existence is the good thing about this glögg, because it is a wonderful drink for the winter time. You drink it hot, and in the words of Poppy, it is hot stuff when served hot. So we add our 2 cups of raisins and maybe a few more. And then we need a ½ cup of almonds. For the almonds, I'm going to want to bang them just a little bit in my mortar and pestle, just so that I've got whole almonds here. That's about a ½ cup. We'll go with a little bit more. And I just want to bang those a little bit so that they're not whole, so that it'll sort of release some of that flavor. Now, of course, we're going to be cooking this as well, but this will just give it a little more chance to release some of those flavors. And I mean, it doesn't have to be exact here. We are, after all, starting with a gallon of wine. So we go through, beat that up a little bit, and then we pour the almonds into our wine. The next thing we need is 10 cardamom seeds. Now I'm also going to, and it wants to have those crushed, so I'm going to take these seeds and I will just put those into the mortar and pestle as well. And again, I'm just going to ballpark 10 seeds is not very much. So on this I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate about getting them crushed. Get it down into sort of a powder so that we can extract all that wonderful goodness out of the cardamom and pour that in there. And then we need 10 cloves. There's an extra raisin. And I'm going to put these in my mortar and pestle as well. And I'm not going to beat these real hard. I'm not going to smash them real hard. I'm just going to sort of release them a little bit. I don't want to make it into a fine powder. So we'll just release those and add them to our heating wine. Now, I've seen different versions of this same recipe, and sometimes they call for 2 cinnamon sticks, sometimes they call for more. So I'm going to go with the little bit more, and I'll put I don't know, 3 or 4. These are fairly small around, they're not the great big ones, so I'll just put those in there. Okay, then it calls for a half lemon and 1 cup of sugar. So I'm going to cut my lemon in half. I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of that juice. And then I'm actually going to cut this into a little bit smaller pieces, and we will throw them in there as well. Now, when we're finished with this, all of the fruit, and I'm going to put the other half of the lemon in there as well. Just why let it go to waste? So what I'm going to do later on, after this has had a chance to sort of stew and get the wonderful goodness out of all of the ingredients that come in here, is I'll actually be straining this. So the fruit, the cloves, all of that is going to come back out of this. I'm going to just give this a little stir, get some of that going up. The heat's starting to come up on this, and so we're still in pretty good shape. Still not hot. And then 1 cup of sugar. Now the way that this works is that we're going to want to bring this up to temperature. You don't want to boil it because that will boil out the alcohol content. And the intent of this is to make a strong wine that serves as a really good way to warm you up when you come in from the cold, or when you're getting a cold. It will kill what ails you, or ail what cures you, or cure what ails you, whichever you prefer. So we're going to go ahead and add that sugar and stir it in. and we don't want it to boil. So we're going to bring this to temperature, and temperature, it depends on the source that you're looking at, but they all say that you want to keep it below boiling, but you don't want to get it above 170 degrees. So 150 to 170 degrees will be about the right area for what we're trying to do. So what I've got is a simple kitchen thermometer, and I will periodically check the temperature of this so that it doesn't get up too high. Right now we're at about, I don't know, 93, 94 degrees. So we'll give that a little time to simmer, and then we will bring it to temperature. After we've brought it to temperature, then what we want to do is we want to let it stop, and we want to let it cool, so that the herbs, not the herbs, but the garlic and the cloves, and there's no garlic either, the lemon and the cloves and all the stuff that's on the ingredients, the cinnamon, have time to really kind of become a primordial ooze and let all their flavor out and into our glögg here. And what we'll do is we'll bring it to heat, we'll let it cool, and we'll let it sit for 24 hours. Then we'll bring it back up to temperature, and then we'll let it cool again. And then what we will do at that point is we will add rum to taste, and we will add more sugar to taste. We will strain it out. So we'll run this through a sieve to take out all those particles of the stuff that made the primordial ooze. Take the ooze out and leave just that delicious goodness that is glögg. And then we'll bottle it and taste it, and it should be consumed while warm. So let's say 150 to 170 degrees. Again, you don't want to bring it up to that boiling temperature, because that will dissolve some of the alcohol content from it, and the goal is not to remove the alcohol content, but to maintain the alcohol content. Okay, so I've had it simmering here on the stove. I'm going to check the temperature real quick. Check the smell. Oh, the smell is just awesome in this. The whole house will smell like this while you're doing this, which for me is okay. You may or may not like it, but this is what it looks like right now. And that's what it sort of looks like. There's the temperature that I'm at, and that'll settle somewhere just over 160 degrees. So it's just about right. You see the lemon sitting in there, and a little bit of froth there. Hopefully that means that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So there's just one more thing to do before we let this sit, and that is to have a taste. Oh yeah, just about right. That'll need to simmer a little bit, let it soak in its own juices. We'll take it off the heat. We will put on a lid, and we'll leave that lid on for the entire day until I heat it up again.